Hello, this is Jeff Nager with AMD World Championship. I'm standing next to George Stinsman from Chaos Cycles, and George is a beautiful bike. What's the name of it?
The name of the bike is Excelsis Dio.
Now, if you don't know what that means, it means?
Well, it's Latin for God in the highest.
And that so much describes your shop.
Our shop's basically a mom and pop shop. You know, it's during the day we do oil changes, tune-ups, full services, and then at night I do the custom bike thing. And you know, we hope to put out usually about 8 to 15 bikes a year. And the custom bike thing doesn't really pay the bills, but it's what I love doing.
And a lot of your bikes have won awards.
Yeah, I've done pretty well at New York International Motorcycle Show. I took first place and third place. We've done a couple of local shows. I've actually had my own shows also out in Long Island, which the turnout was phenomenal for that. And yeah, we've been growing pretty immensely in the last couple of years.
Let's talk about the front end. It's a Springer. We're rocking it with Crime Scene Choppers, light front and back. But talk about your components on the front end.
Okay, the front end on this bike was originally a DNA. Anybody that knows a lot of these aftermarket Springer companies, they're cheap, they work okay, they make a little noise, but they're not the most attractive thing. So what I did is I came up with a replacement front leg that kind of makes the Springer look a lot better, and you know, gives it a little bit of class.
And what's the geometry on the frame?
The rake is 38 degrees, it's 2 under with a stocked front stretch.
Now, one of the things I like about this bike is the engine. It's an S&S mill. Talk about that, what you've done to it, how much horsepower it makes.
Okay, this particular motor was, the woman the bike was built for, she wanted something very reliable, and I'm not the biggest fan of just using an Evo because it's very common. So we went to S&S for the 93-inch low compression shovel head. It makes, you know, probably about 90 horsepower, but it's a good reliable motor, and at the same time it's got that old school flair.
And the belt drive?
Belt drive is an ultimate belt drive. I usually take them, I sandblast them because I like very cast looking parts. I don't like billet all that much, so if it's a billet part, a lot of times I'll sandblast it just to make it look cast.
Well, the combination of the tank, the seat, and the rear fender has a very high-end look. What kind of look were you going for?
On this particular bike, we were trying to get something classy. Again, it was for a woman, so we wanted to make sure that it appealed to her, but at the same time, I wouldn't be ashamed to ride it either. We also had to make sure the bike was very, very rideable, especially she's going to be using this in the streets of New York City, so we wanted to make sure the suspension was real well on it, keep her comfortable, and it had to be nimble. And the bike, you know, handles very well. You got to get it in and out of the traffic. You got to split lanes. You need narrow handlebars. You know, very narrow, quick bike.
And you first look at it, you might not recognize it's a Softail. You've got an interesting design back there, and I understand this is the first prototype of this frame. How long did it take for you to pull this idea together and get it into production?
As far as the frame, I've always been a rigid guy, so I'm always trying to find like a Softail frame that I would really like to do. And we kind of drew this up on a napkin, and you know, after a little modification here and there, this is what we came up with. To me, the thing about a lot of Softails is they try and hide the fact that it's Softail. I didn't really want that. I wanted it to, you know, to look like it was a swing arm and a separate frame. And at the same time, it's hard to keep things very tight when you're not running. But again, if you think things out and you try and, you know, make sure you have all your clearances right, it works out pretty well.
Now, since this is a custom bike, most people want to have some of their own taste, some of their own ideas in the bike itself. How did the owner of this bike put a little of herself into it?
Well, she basically didn't really give me too much direction. She told me just to kind of do what I do. She liked the bikes I had built in the past. Her only request was red, which, to be honest with you, I hate red, so it was kind of a battle for me. You know, we did that, and we also went and asked her for one of her suitcases, a Gucci suitcase, and we had the seat wrapped in it, Exian leather wrapped the seat, and the battery box for us to kind of give it a little bit of class. Also, the bike is actually built for European royalty. She's a princess. So I thought it would be kind of cool to put the LA Chop Rod's crown on there just for it.
Yeah, it's a very tidy package, and I think you, from my perspective, you met the objective. It's a very cool looking bike. Let's take a couple minutes and talk about Chaos Cycles. What kind of business you have, and what type of projects that you work on an ongoing basis?
Typically I have about 4 to 5 builds going at any time. You know, we put out between 7 and 15 bikes a year, but most of the stuff I do is very old school with some modern technology built into it. You know, being here, you see some of this crazy stuff, and it makes you want to go home and just spend hours in the garage and be locked in.
But the boss won't allow you to do that, will she?
No, I don't. She tears me out of the shop as much as she can, but yeah, sometimes there's no stopping me. I foresee when I get back from this trip, I'm going to have to spend a full day with her, and then I'm going to lock myself in the garage again.
Gotcha. So if somebody was interested to get more information about the build, about some of the parts that you have, give us your web address and telephone number.
Okay, our web address is www.chaoscycle.com. It's CHAOSCYCLE.com. And our phone number is 631-714-4101.
All right, George, well, thanks so much. Thanks for coming all the way out to Sturgis. Good luck in the show.
My pleasure. Thank you very much.